Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace. With your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. Tonight we're doing class number 85, and you're all invited to join us on the previous classes. The recording are available at menachembernfeld.com. And tonight we're going to take some time to reflect, to see where we are, which is an important piece on the journey. So welcome in, and let's get started. So first, I would like to thank our sponsor, tonight's sponsor, OK Clarity. OKClarity.com is a place to find a top-notch therapist, coach, or nutritionist. Their professionals are vetted and have extensive experience working with the Jewish community. If you're in the market for a therapist, coach, or the like, if you are a wellness professional looking to get more online exposure, go check them out, okclarity.com, and you can join their WhatsApp status, 917-426-1495. That's 917-426-1495. Okay, so let's get grounded. Here we are now. We're here in the now. Hopefully you're in a good place. We won't get distracted for a few minutes. Let's take a few minutes just to slow down, just to be in the moment, to be here. No matter where you are, to slow down. You can put both feet on the ground if you're sitting. Take a deep breath. And just become aware of where you are, your environment around you, what's going on, where you come from, what your day looked like, how did you get here? And then we turn inwards to see what does our body feel. Become aware of the feelings in our body. Might be tired, maybe stressed, maybe relaxed. Any sensation, tingling, heaviness, whatever you become aware of, just become aware. And take a deep breath and let it all out. Okay, so how are we feeling? How is your immune system? Last week we discussed pretty much basically when a person is stressed, it affects the immune system. Your cortisol, adrenaline is always high, and it doesn't work together with our immune system to be able to heal when it needs to. And we need to get to a relaxed state so that our body should be able to heal, take care of what it needs to be taken care of. We don't have to know how it works. It's part of the breathing, part of the blood. You're not aware of, you're not conscious. It's all subconscious, doing its thing, doing what it needs to do. That's all the subconscious part of us. And breathing usually is subconscious. Most people don't think the whole day, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. But we do try once in a while to become conscious about our subconscious. And that's the easiest place to do it, with our breath. Like if the past few hours you never thought about your breath, which is beautiful and it worked on its own, Baruch Hashem. But now you can take a few minutes to become aware of your subconscious, and slowly we get into our body, become aware of how it feels. So we focus on our breath. And in order to heal, we need to relax, learn how to let go. So my question to you is, what technique do you use? What did you use the past week to help you relax? Now, some people could throw it on me. They can say right away, I did this, I did that, I took a walk, I took 5 minutes off. I did this, but other people are still thinking, I'm not sure. Maybe one day I'll do it, which is okay. I accept you the way you are. If that's where you are, then that's where you are. But that's an awareness. It's something that you hear and it sounds amazing and it's true when you hear it, but to actually do the action, that takes time. And that's okay. But if you're here tonight, you're on the train, you're doing the right thing, you're in a good place. Accept yourself wherever you are. How often did you do the technique? If you do it once a day, every hour, just becoming aware, like we discussed last week, to see what does my day look like and how I can use every hour just a few minutes to relax. So tonight we'll take some time and just become aware, become conscious of our journey, of our growth that we're having. And again, we're all on a journey. Life is a journey, but not everyone is conscious about it. But if you're here, you're probably more conscious than others. So let's take a moment just to stop. And I would ask you, how do you feel? Now, there are people, and it might be you, it might be the first time you're listening to this, it might be recording, or the first time you're showing up tonight. And you're not aware of any self-growth journeys, or maybe you're just the first video you're listening to. So I would like to welcome you on this journey that a lot of people are on, and it might be the beginning of your journey. And then many of us are on the journey for a while, whether it's here with us Wednesday nights or from different places, listening to other things, trying to figure yourself out, self-awareness. And many people started years ago. Just to become aware, where did I start? At what age did I become aware of myself? Many people would say it was very young. In their teenage years, they started thinking. Others would say it was just, not too long ago. That's an awareness just to see where you are. What made you come on this journey? How did you pick it up? I remember myself as a very young age, I had this feeling that I want to be better. There's always that feeling of needing to be better. And I did become aware of some parts are beautiful. Some parts could be coming from the feeling that I'm not enough. It's just that feeling, I'm not enough. So if I'm not enough, I want to be better. And the truth is, like I said, life is a journey, wherever you are. You might not be aware of it, but as humans, and especially as Yidden, we want to be better. We want to grow, which is amazing. And like we discussed many times, wanting to grow could be coming from two places. It could be coming from, I'm here, I'm alive, I have so many options, let me try things out, let's go, let's enjoy it. Or it could be coming from a place of, I'm not happy with where I am, I'm not happy with who I am, feeling empty, and you want to fill that up. So it feels growth, but it could be coming from a negative place. So exactly when I started on this journey, I don't remember, but been here for many years, and let's talk about it. How do you feel? The progress on this journey. Can you write down a list of things that you see the growth, you see the progress, you see the things you're learning? You can celebrate, you're excited. Or maybe not. Just to become aware of it. Become aware of your thoughts about it, about the journey, your feelings about the journey, about yourself, any changes about the people around you, about the world around you. And the truth is, we could discuss all the areas in our life, different areas, but we're not going to go there. But you can do that when you have time, just to stop and think to yourself, where am I? Where am I coming from? What's the growth? What are the changes I see? And I do know personally, I can find myself many times in a place where I think it's just not working. It's, where is this going? I've been on the journey for a while. I don't feel the growth. And I'm aware of that. And I felt that many times, and I'm aware of that feeling that we don't decide when you feel that way. It could be that was a low moment, in a bad mood, in a blue mood. Sometimes you're in a situation where you might be frustrated, maybe angry, maybe upset, and you think to yourself, wait a second, I've worked on this for a long time. Now, why am I feeling like this? I'm still feeling the same way. And then the thought comes in saying, it's just not working. That's something to be aware of. Become aware of your thoughts. So let's stop for a moment and ask yourself, when I started on this journey, how do I feel about myself, about this journey? Is it positive or negative? I don't like using the words positive and negatives, because whatever it is. Becoming aware of it is very important. It's part of the journey. Part of it. Stopping and thinking, where am I? Many people don't like to be on this journey. We'll discuss soon. But, since I started on this journey, they tell me, I'm always busy thinking of what's going on. What are they thinking? What am I thinking? Why am I thinking this way? Why couldn't kind of go back to the same old, go back to where I was before I started this whole thing? And I never thought about it. Well, yeah, it does sometimes feel much easier and better when you're not aware of what's going on. You're not aware of yourself. You just continue. It could be. People do feel that way. So wherever you feel, some people are excited, they feel rejuvenated, they become aware of themselves, they feel they're slowly becoming back in control. They could start making choices. They can choose. They see both sides and then they make a choice. They can actually decide, even though it might be the wrong choice, but they're okay. They have dreams, slowly starting to have dreams, new things in their life, goals. And they do feel motivated. Now, again, I wouldn't say the whole time, there's ups and downs, but they feel overall positive. I call it positives, but that's what they feel. But many people would say, where is this going? I don't feel good, even physically, feel weak. I don't know, it's not working. It just slows me down. I would say beautiful. That's what we're working on. It just because, it makes me aware of things I don't want to become aware of. And you might call that negative things. Sometimes I find myself confused. What's happening? Or foggy, very not clear. Lonely. Sometimes when you become aware of yourself, you slow down and you look around what's going on, you can have that lonely feeling. Down. And overall thinking this is, you're not happy with where you are. It's just not working. I don't want to be here. Could you help me, get me out of here? I don't want to be where I am. That's an awareness. So to see which side of the list are you, is that on the growth, feeling it's working, you're getting somewhere, you're excited, or maybe the other way, you're not sure. You don't really like it. So just to become aware of, again, now, how you feel now about it, or now you might be on that motivated side, thinking that it's working, but tomorrow morning or a different day, Or looking back on different days, different times, you might find yourself in a place where you're not excited, not motivated to continue on this journey. So whatever comes up is valid. Whatever comes up is what it is. That's how you feel. So that's the first part, just to become aware of how you feel on this journey, thinking about it. When did you start? Why did you start? How did you start? How did you get here? And how is the growth going? Do you have a list of things that are working out, new things that you're learning, or maybe not? But again, whatever it is valid, and you're still okay. And again, if you've been on the journey with us, you can understand why we have these feelings, whether it's up or down. This is part of the journey. And this itself, that you start feeling it's not working, I don't like it. Well, you're actually becoming aware of these feelings. So that means something is happening. Something is happening. By saying I don't like it, that's a step. That means you're aware and you don't like it. Okay. We become aware of things we don't like. And then Coach Menachem teaches you to sit with it. Oh, that's even harder. I don't like to sit with it. I don't like to sit with it. Okay. That's another thing to become aware of. And it makes sense. It's valid. So this is part of being on this journey. We do slow down. You feel like you were on the top of the game, running and doing things and feeling active, which was amazing. And now, for some reason, you're on the journey. I'm not sure why, but you're here and you just don't like it. And you start slowing down. You start becoming aware of things that you don't like. Okay. So that means you're slowing down. Things are happening. So you realize whatever it is. Now, if you always find yourself in a negative place, then you might need somebody to help you, a good friend, someone to talk to. Because if you're in this low mood for too long, that's not good. We need the ups and downs. We need the positives and the negatives. We need the goods and the not so good. But if once in a while we experience it, we start experiencing these things that we don't like, that's part of our journey. And that means there is growth. Things are happening. I do want to mention that many times people think I have to dig back in my years when I was younger, see why I feel this way, why do I think this way, why do I have these patterns of the past. Some people have a hard time saying no, people pleasing. But I just want to mention that it doesn't have to come from any negative place. I'll give you two examples that it's not negative, it just is. So two basic examples is if somebody is the oldest in the family or the youngest in the family. Now, oldest in the family, many times they have a high expectations of themselves. They were the oldest and they're always helping. And there's no one to ask for help because they're, and the parents might expect them to be, when they're 3 years old to do something that a 7-year-old does. So it doesn't have to be any negativity. It could be everything beautiful and positive. But if you were the oldest in the family, it has some impact. And the same thing with the youngest. If somebody's youngest in the family, they might feel that everybody's treating them like a baby. And they're grown up, they're married, and they're still talking the same way. It's a feeling that they have. And even if you're on this journey and you worked on yourself and you're trying to stick up for yourself, tell yourself you're not different than anybody else, which is amazing. And then you go to your parents, you go to your siblings, and you start feeling the same way. Now, again, this is not positive or negative. It's just awareness. Okay, just looking back. What do I feel? Where's it coming from? Okay. Now, what could I do about it? That's beautiful. You can do something about it. Become aware. That's step number one. But again, there's people, if you don't like looking back at all the negative things, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be any negative. It could be just basic things. And this is where we are. Become aware of our journey. Okay, so now after becoming aware, we want to start celebrating our small wins. Start becoming aware of small things, small movements. And like I mentioned before, if you feel it's not working, if you feel you don't like it, write it down on your list of progress. That's the first thing. Things are working. You might not like it, but it's working. You're on the journey of life. You're becoming aware of it, and eventually you will take control. You might not be there yet, but eventually you'll get there. And be able to tell yourself, I'm okay. Yes, it's normal to feel this way. Nothing wrong with you. You don't have to be more. You're exactly where you need to be. And this is where you are. And it's okay. Take a deep breath. I know you want to run. There's so many things you want to do. You want to be better. You want to change, but you're okay. You are where you are now. Just feel it. And yes, becoming aware of these concepts is progress. And you don't like these feelings, but you're aware of these feelings. That's amazing. That's called alive. That means you're alive, and that's progress. So write it down, start celebrating. And I'm sure many of us have much more than that. Just not only this, that I don't like it. We have more than that. Start writing down. I see movements over there, small things over there. I see a difference over there. I used to say things that was on my mind right away. Now I stop for a split second. That's amazing. You're aware of what you're going to say. You're aware of how you feel in the room with other people. You're aware. You step in there and you're like, oops, okay, now I know what to do, or I don't, but you're aware of it. Just start celebrating small wins. And the way I like to look at it is, if a good friend of yours calls you and says, please do me a favor, can you share with me some small changes that you see from the past few weeks? I'm on this journey. I'm learning a lot about myself. Could you please point out some things that you see, some changes? Now, that question is pretty vulnerable. Like we discussed this past Sunday night about being vulnerable. It's vulnerable to tell your friends, could you do me a favor and pinpoint some changes? That means I'm growing. Yes. I have a lot to learn. Yes. I am human. Hard to admit. But yeah, we're on this journey and we're learning. And that's fine. If you have a friend, not everybody has that, but you have a close friend. What would you tell your good friend if they share something vulnerable like that? And they say, do me a favor, just point out a few things that you see, any change. Or if they say, I've been on this journey for a while, I don't think anything is happening. I don't understand this whole thing. I don't like it. How would you respond? What would you tell them? So just become aware what we say, especially if you're on this journey with us. The first step we would validate. We'd say, oh, Yvei, wow, tell me more. We don't go right away to what are you talking about? There's so much progress. If they ask you for the progress, then you can go there right away. But if they complain and they say, I don't see anything, so first you validate how they feel, because for them, that's how they feel. Like, wow, what do you mean? And let them talk. Usually in the middle, they say, yeah, maybe a little here, a little there. See, let them get there. Let them get to it on their own instead of you throwing it on them. So after listening to them, after validating, like we all know already what to do, what would you tell them? What would you, point out some ideas and something that you see that you can pinpoint, small steps. So that's exactly what you need to do with your inner child. And many times your inner child feels in a low mood and says, it's not working? I don't know what I'm looking for. I am so confused. Listen to it. Say, wow, I hear you. And just let it talk, let it come out. And then after a few minutes, you've been there with it. Say, what do you mean? Look, this is movement. Write it down. There's movement here. Wow. Yes, things are coming up. I might not like it, but it's coming up. Write it down. So you become aware of the positives, you become aware of small movements, and you can celebrate. You can celebrate. But I just want to end, very important, that if you feel there's no movement, and if your friend shares, no, I don't think there's any movement, it's okay. You become aware of that, and you can be there with that feeling and sit with that, like we discussed many times. Sit with that feeling. I don't feel it's working. I don't like it. Just sit with that. I'm here for you. Even if you feel there's nothing happening, I accept you the way you are. Wow, that's it. Even if you feel this way. If you can sit with your friend that way, that's amazing. If you can sit with yourself, if sometimes you don't have any positives, you're not interested in seeing that list, it's just not, you're not in the mood, still okay. You can still sit there and be aware. Just take it in. You're okay. I'm still okay. So we have to remember, that's the idea for tonight. Just stopping, looking back. You might not see the growth, you might not see the progress, and that's also okay. But I'm sure many of you do see. And like I mentioned, if you're aware that you don't like it, that is progress. But we have to remember, growth is change. And change is different, right? If you want things to be the same like the past few years, then you do the same things. If you want change, you want, it's going to be different. And different is out of our comfort zone. And out of our comfort zone is just not so comfortable. That's it, very basically said. Growth is many times not comfortable because that's what it is. It's out of our comfort zone. And we're here on this journey. We're growing. We're all doing a great job. You're doing a great job no matter what you feel. Wherever you are, you're okay. And you're learning, you're growing, and it's out of our comfort zone. So thank you very much for joining tonight. Next week, hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem, in Yerushalayim or Kodesh, we will do it Tuesday night. Hopefully, because next week, Wednesday night is Tisha B'Av. And we will continue to understand a little bit of why we're sitting in the negative, Tisha B'Av, 3 weeks, 9 days. Why? We don't like it. Why can't we just go on, not think about it? So I guess there is an idea of focusing on seeing the reality, seeing where we are, even though it's negative sometimes, even though we don't like it. That's part of our journey, part of where we are. And then we're zoicha afterwards, in Mitzvah Hashem, to be in Yerushalayim. If we want it, we wait for it, because we don't like it here. And then in Mitzvah Hashem, we're zoicha. So Mitzvah Hashem, we'll see you Tuesday night. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. Thank yourself for taking some time off. Thank yourself for being with yourself on this journey as a close friend, because we all need a good friend. It is lonely sometimes. Be there for yourself. You can call somebody if you have, but even if sometimes you feel all by yourself, sit down and be there with a cup of tea for yourself. Have a good night and a good week. We'll see you in Mitzvah Hashem next week, Tuesday nights.